Welcome to the PDX files. Each week we dive into the weird and the unexplained here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. My name is Peej.
And I am Mac.
Mac, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, just about a little over a week ago, there was yet another of the congressional UAP hearings. And for the most part, it was pretty boring. It wasn't anything really new that sort of came out, except for what we're about to watch here. And I'd rather just let the footage spell it out for people, and then we can comment because it's actually pretty goddamn weird.
Okay. As usual, I have not seen these videos. Well, that's not true. I kind of took a little bit of a peek earlier, but I didn't see the entire video. So my responses will be authentic. Here we go.
Indeed.
Admiral Gallaudet, Lou Elizondo, and Mr. Gold, and the many others that have come forward. We hear you, and it's time that we, enough is enough. It's time that we take action. Look, I'm not jumped to the conclusion that I believe that there are, aliens coming from another planet. But I'm open to that. And I think that it's our responsibility, especially when we're seeing that we have a government that is actively blocking information from us. Just last night, I tried to get an amendment onto the National Defense Authorization Act that fit in the germaneness of that bill to have UAP disclosure. And conveniently, it was named non-germane, mostly deemed by staff, not even an elected official. This is the kind of stuff that we repeatedly see. Last year, we were blocked by someone in House administration from being able to receive a full briefing from Arrow. So not an elected official, but someone in staff blocked us. And I've had it. Enough is enough.
So first, I guess, first of all, I should have looked up. I mean, I know what he's talking about, germane, non-germane. I don't know, other than Jermaine O'Neal, who used to play for the Portland Trailblazers, exactly what that means.
It means it's related to, or it's inherent in. So, like if you were to talk about vegetables, we'll talk a subject.
So it has to
discussion
be
regarding
to
tomatoes will be germane to that topic.
Okay, I get it. I just don't like the fact that he used that term, but I'm going to go ahead and let that go despite that. But also, what he's saying there, I think, is the reason why I kind of set that up a little bit. It's very indicative of the way since 2023, and actually, the guy behind him right there, that's David Grush, who was in kind of that original sort of bombshell UAP hearing that they had in Congress back in 2020, June of 2023. That's David Grush, and he's been kind of run through the ringer in a lot of different ways, attacked and discredited, or tried to be discredited, and is now a staffer for Mr. Burleson. And I'm not exactly a huge fan of Burleson as from politics, but I like what they're doing here with this topic. I think they really are trying to bring it out to the forefront, and the fact that they're still, he's saying, and has the ability to say so, that they're being restricted or being pushed back on these types of things. It's
by staff,
but it's being ordered by, right? It's
right.
being ordered by the staff in the White House, and just that there's that kind of barrier to this, and we've gone through all these presidents have said, well, you're going to be very transparent. Even Trump said that, kind of ran out a little bit. We're still not getting that. It's pretty disturbing, but it's even more disturbing when you see the clip that's yet to come.
Okay. All right. We'll continue here.
I want to cue up a video that I've been given. And as before it starts, I'm going to describe, this was taken October 30th of 2024.
Just last year.
This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. That you cannot see that drone, and so I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does.
That's a bit of a long video, so you have to wait. But this is the thing it's tracking right here.
So on the screen is this over an ocean?
Yeah, it said it was near Yemen, I guess, whatever that is over there.
And for those listening on the podcast, again, look at the reference video to watch it.
Oh, you see that? Do you see that shit?
Looks like something hit whatever the Or
Yeah, and luckily I had this video queued up later on as well. So this is after it just got hit.
This is when
And
it zoomed out.
let
So you
him.
can still see it traveling.
is it spin? It looks like it's spinning.
Yeah, it does.
So,
But it's sort of reformed almost.
Mr. Knapp,
And it changed course.
do you have have you heard about, events like this occurring?
Sorry, I was supposed to stop it.
That's okay. So I know but it comes so fast. It's like, and if you look at it, I'm sure, and you know, like anybody listening to this or watching us at all, the 2 or 3 people that do will recognize um when you get the close up how it kind of like turns up into it. Which I looked a little bit about there's different types of hellfire missiles. Some explode and some don't. This one, from what I understand, and I sort of looked up a little bit about, is the type that doesn't explode, but actually has like blades attached to it. So
Okay.
it causes the least amount of damage possible. They're using this more and more. So it's more of like a surgical strike. So they can kill somebody in a car almost, from the way I understand it. Or like say like maybe it's like a Land Rover, like the middle of whatever, and it hits and it'll hit the target that they want, but not necessarily to kill anybody else within the car. It's that surgically strikeable.
What
That's
did you
the word.
what did you call the missile?
It's a Hellfire missile. There's different types of
Hellfire missile.
Hellfire missiles. Yeah, so that
Okay.
one, and it has a laser tip to it to where it'll track the target, and it's being run by somebody else, right? So, but it's also an autopilot. So when it gets really close to the target, if the target moves different way, it'll like try to correct itself. And
That's
so,
amazing.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of sick, the kind of shit that we have available to us without aliens, or maybe it came from aliens. I mean, really, who knows? But
We don't know.
the fact that it hit that and it just kept going. It didn't like dive into the sea. It didn't explode. Nothing like that happened. And then it zoomed out to another one of those drones, or the MQ9s or whatever the heck they call them. And it just kind of like did a little bit of that, but it kept on going wherever it was going to go.
It kept on going, and it again, for those who are listening on the podcast, definitely watch the reference video. But it looked to me, again, without rewinding, because that's just going to mess up our program here. But it looked to me
I mean,
like
we could do it.
like it split into like multiple pieces, but then kept
Yeah,
going.
yeah, and I think they're going to talk about this here in the next clip. Is like,
Oh,
well, I'll just go ahead and let them say it rather
okay.
than spoil it.
Let's continue here.
And what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where
And that's source that behind it is Jeremy
these kind of
Corbell
videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see.
in the brown
Usually
shirt.
some of that stuff gets out in the wild
That's him.
and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah. What the hell is that? What
So
What
again,
flies like that?
again, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but the question is, why are we being blocked from this information?
Yeah, and that was kind of the point that he was trying to make there. But the fact that they had heard about that story, and I do remember them talking about this. I went back and looked a little bit. I know that it's called the Weaponized is the name of the podcast with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. Did get this information, but they didn't have the video. That's kind of the interesting thing about that, is that sometimes these leaks happen. I don't know if it was something on purpose or something that they were given. But I do want to address my radio voice right now is like really good. Just want to make sure people know that I have had COVID. I'm doing fine, but I'm feeling like it's actually helping my radio voice right now. But anyway, we want to get on to the next.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever makes you feel good about yourself. Here's the thing, though. I want to go back to something that the gentleman was talking about, because I did notice.
Myrtleson or Knapp.
Yeah, Myrtleson, and I think maybe it's going to be shown on this next clip right here. But it did, like I did say, it did separate, or it smashed into a couple of pieces. But then he's right. Now that I think about it, I think it coalesced again into one to one object. Okay, so this will be interesting. So
yeah,
we're on
this is a bit more ominous here with this clip here, but it's still, I mean, just looking at that, it looks like science fiction. It doesn't look real to me, but it is real. It's from, a military drones that are
Yeah.
taping this thing, and I don't know. I don't. We don't have that kind of technology. I don't think we do. And if we got hit by, I think they call it the Ninja Hellfire missile because it has all the blades on it. It's kind of funny, or not funny if you're getting hit by it. I mean, we have pretty high level tech, and it hit that thing, and it just sort of like shrugged it off. I was like, I'm good.
All right. Well, we're going to be viewing a different video now for those listening
Related.
on the podcast. Exactly. Yeah, it's related, and we'll have both reference videos linked in the show notes. Here we go.
Thank you. Real quick, I'd like to ask the committee to replay that video that Burleson had played earlier. I want to ask every witness here, specifically ones that have sensor training or have been able to recognize some of this movements real quick. So if you guys can please roll that real quick.
Yeah, it's a good chance to get a good view.
Yeah. So again, it's the same video that's being shown, and it's the drone that's tracking this thing.
Yeah, it's tracking it, and it's going to be hit by another missile. But just take a look at how the missile acts when it hits it. It's crazy.
Got it. So the missile
Right there. See, you just look how it turns into it, kind of.
Yeah. And then it shows that
that is
it's subdivided into
Okay, while this is still rolling.
4 parts, I guess.
Kelly, real quick, yes or no answers. Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No,
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer
And,
to and skiff.
These
Okay,
people were all at this particular
Does
UAP
this
hearing last
video
week.
scare you guys?
I'm going to
Yes,
pause the
ma'am.
video real quick.
Yeah, sorry, I
I was
kind
supposed
of
to.
interrupted her. Yeah, I interrupted her question there. But we saw the video again, and
So
it looked to me like there were 3 different pieces that kind of came off of it at the tail end. Did you see that?
wait a second. So I have to,
I think we should
we have-
rewind it.
I think
it's
we
fine
need to rewind
it.
because
Yeah, let's do it.
I have some questions, and because I feel like I may have been tracking or I may have been interpreting it incorrectly. But let me ask you right now, is the
Yeah.
object that the drone is tracking in the video feed that's traveling in a straight line over water, is that the missile?
No, that's the UAP.
That's the UAP. Okay,
Yes.
just understand that it's when she asks the question, it makes it seem to me that the UAP is the one that comes from the left side of the screen, hits the missile,
Well, she's kind of an
or
idiot.
did she interpret that incorrectly?
I don't know what she interpreted. She's kind of a moron, kind of well known. But I kind of get what she's saying. But I think that the proof is in the video itself. So I
Well,
think we
and
should.
yeah, let's rewind it. And then
Yeah, set it up.
Mr. Borland over there said that he'd rather respond in skiff.
Yeah, so that's I can't remember the name of the acronym right now, just offhand. But it's essentially where you go and it's all secret, and they have like these protocols around it so nobody can listen in. So it's like it's all this top secret kind of stuff. It's like a room somewhere. Is kind of basically what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah, it's a private room where confidential information can.
Yeah, and just really quick, I can't remember what Mr. Nisatelli does, but I know Chief Wiggins is a guy, is a Navy guy, been doing things for a long time. He has a whole different story, which I want to get to eventually in one of these episodes. George Knapp is pretty famous UAP UFO journalist. He says UFO because that's kind of where, and who lives in Vegas actually is kind of where he is. But he's the guy who kind of brought out Bob Lazar, and if you've heard of him, you probably know. And pretty much everyone's heard of him. That's kind of where Area 51 came from a little bit. And then Borland is a kind of a new guy. I don't know who Mr. Spielberger is necessarily, but Borland is an Air Force kind of an intelligence guy. So, but anyway.
And then Elizondo's the guy in the brown behind Knapp.
No.
No, who is that guy?
There. That's Jeremy Corbell. He's kind of a UFO journalist also. Knapp is more just like a pure journalist. Corbell is kind of newer to the game, but is a UFO journalist essentially. Well, he's not even a journalist.
Got it.
Like a
Okay.
filmmaker. Yeah.
Ah, okay, got it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the start of this clip.
Yep.
Thank you. Real quick, I'd like to ask the committee to replay that video that Burleson had played earlier. I want to ask every witness here, specifically ones that have sensor training or have been able to recognize some of this movement real quick. So if you guys can please roll that real quick.
So what's being tracked right now is supposedly the UAP.
It's the UAP. Yep.
Okay. It's traveling at pretty fast click.
Pretty fast, but not as fast as it could probably. But
And then shortly here,
yeah,
the
we're going to see
missile
that.
hits
Oh,
it.
right at, oh my God, that is crazy.
So the missile hits it, and then
There's like little 3 or 4 little pieces.
3 or
of it. You
4
see that?
pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, while this is still rolling, Mr.
And
Nusatelli,
then it just,
yes or
there it
no
goes.
answers. Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
Okay, does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
This is a good question,
Yes.
actually.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out. Thanks for providing that.
Curiosity. kills the
Congressman.
cat. All right, Mr. Borland?
Yes, for
Okay. All right, that is
Cut him off.
end of my questioning.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting kind of way to end that the whole thing because, yeah, looking at it, I'd be, especially if I was a military guy, with any knowledge of any of this stuff, I'd be pretty freaked out too. So I think I caught on the point where you thought that maybe she was talking about that was the missile. I
Yeah.
think she was saying that it hit it and it split it completely, like it didn't do anything, basically.
Right.
And so
Well-
it just kept on going.
Like you said, that style of missile is the one that can do surgical cuts, as you were saying. So it wasn't any
Crazy.
designed to
Yeah.
explode. So it cut through whatever that was. That again, for the folks who are listening, when you see the video, it shows the object that the drone was tracking split into multiple pieces, and then
It
the
kept
next
following
cut
it.
is that it seemed to have coalesced back into a solid form.
It was so weird. And
Yeah.
it does look like a blob thing. I know, again, you sort of listen to Luna talk, and she is kind of a moron, but she definitely brings up a pretty good point. And I like the question, does it scare you? I'm like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, that scares me.
Yeah, there's it's very interesting because again, going back to science fiction, sometimes informing science fact and vice versa. The Star Trek Strange New Worlds, there was an episode which I don't remember what episode it is, what season it is, or whatnot, but it's sort of the humans or the Federation at that point was actually ended up visiting the planet that's pre warp, pre space travel,
Yeah.
but because they needed to rescue somebody from their crew, and so obviously it went through the oh my gosh, so that alien race saw them and like oh my god, we're being invaded by aliens, and there was scenes in the government that really mirrored. Government discussions that mirrored what we just saw in the video there, where they were talking about, are you sure? Are you sure you don't believe in aliens? I mean, we've got proof right here, that type of thing. So it's kind of interesting that
Yeah.
they applied that scenario to kind of like a reversal of it. But
Well, I mean, and that just shows. I mean, these things. I think he said there's a bank of servers that have this kind of George Knapp, a bank of servers that have footage of these kinds of things, and to me, that doesn't seem surprising. I think there probably is a heck of it. It's not just a few, cell phone videos here and there. I think the government has the capability of monitoring these things. Now, obviously, they can't do anything about it, right? You fire like you put a Hellfire missile on it, it didn't do shit, right? So, it shows that there's a certain capability that goes well beyond what we have. Now, it didn't seem to be doing anything bad. So why they decided to fire at it, I don't know. Maybe they thought they could take it down with this missile.
Well,
Seems like a bad idea to me, but
we yeah, well, it was in a previous episode in terms of the what is it like trying to where when the government reveals, here we go, what might
Yeah, yeah,
happen
yeah.
if disclosure is confirmed. I think there was a section there where the aliens were friendly and the Earthlings
Yeah.
just went, well, we don't know what it is, so let's fire at it.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of what that reminds you of right there,
yeah.
and that's gotta be pretty humbling. I mean, if you're on that, wavelength with them and you think that's a good idea, it's like, it just shrugged you off like you were just like a little baby, basically. It's like, "Yeah, yeah."
Well, the other part of it too, and again, I think this is why it's one of the gentlemen, I think they in the first clip mentioned it, is that if we're talking about national security, if we're talking about being able to respond to threats, yes, that's one level of it. But then the second level is that if we cannot identify it, then let's open ourselves up to the possibility that the thing that we're trying to protect ourselves from might not actually be Earth related or earthbound.
Yeah, you
So
have to be open-minded about it, which I definitely appreciated that comment, and,
yeah,
if you go immediately to skeptic mode and just try to do it that way, and you're not gonna get very far, and I don't think that, uh, the human civilization would have lasted very long if we just kept on being skeptics, about everything. "Oh, that's never gonna work," or "We've always done things this way." It doesn't work that way. So, this is something I keep an eye. I wasn't going to watch the whole 2 hour long thing because there wasn't anybody who was on there who I hadn't heard of before except for that
yeah,
one guy, and I wasn't expecting anything out of it because the last hearing that they had was kind of a joke. Since 2023, it hasn't been very very good for Congress, but they were able to bring this to the table. A video that looks pretty much, I mean, nobody's really disputing that's from the US military.
yeah.
Um, that's impressive stuff. So,
Well, it's definitely yeah, definitely interesting, and it's definitely makes you wonder because obviously this day and age we've got access to real-time video like that. We've got access to being able to share this information more widespread than in
yep.
the past. And we've talked about this before where UFO or UFO like imagery has been showing up in sculptures and old paintings from the olden days where that's the only way that those folks over there who may have observed these phenomena were able to record it somehow. But they still at that time didn't have the right context for it. But the imagery is, undeniable, sort of. I mean, this is kind of leaning into the ancient aliens theory, but
No,
again,
I get what
it
you're
kind of
saying.
makes
It's
it,
like,
yeah,
it's kind of how they're recording it, right? And they're kind of looking at it that way. It's like they didn't have drones who can, track it at a certain speed. And it wasn't going that fast, right? Those kinds of things have shown the ability to go much faster than that.
yeah,
So it's almost like daring us. It felt a little bit to me watching, and that's why I like the question where she talks about, "Hey, does this scare you?" It reminds me a little bit of how we got our ass whipped in what's it called? The movie Independence Day. When we
yeah.
started attacking, we're so convinced that we're going to be able to do some damage to this, to this UFO, and they go in and they get annihilated. It's like that's kind of how it felt a little bit. It's like we went in there. Oh, we'll send a Hellfire missile. This will do the trick. Nope,
Yep.
nope. It didn't do anything.
Well, folks, that was really interesting. And if you enjoyed this content, please give it a like and share it across your socials to help get the word out about our show. If you hadn't already done so, please subscribe. And on YouTube, hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.